What the heck is up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Mostly Movies podcast with Nick and Christian. He's Nick, I'm Christian, and we got a humdinger for you tonight. We got a special one tonight. Super excited about it. But before we get into all that, please head over to thescreengods.com for all of Nick's latest movie reviews and our podcast. And be sure to hit up Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all the other places you get your podcasts. Subscribe, especially to our YouTube channel. But yeah, wherever you get your audio, check us out over there. Today we went and saw an early release of Gladiator 2, which is probably our most anticipated movie of the year, I think.
No doubt. Yep.
Yeah. I don't think it gets any better after this that I know of.
I don't think so.
But yeah, a lot to get into. But before we again get into it, we are gonna have some spoilers tonight because there's just not really a way to give a full breakdown of this movie without getting into the meat and potatoes of it. So if you want to see the film first, come back to this. You probably won't see it for another week or so anyway. So, but yeah,
before you
heavy spoilers.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting folks know. I got two things I want to say. First is I want to dedicate this episode to my dad, the original Rad Dad. He's the reason I saw the first Gladiator and a whole bunch of other historical films I would have never watched without him. So I took the day off today. It was very special to me. So dedicated to Steven Redwanski, my dad, RIP. Also, that's the emotional side. The fun side is your name this week. Absolutely.
I was waiting to see how long.
I saw as soon as you were in the lobby. It was like Truthless Ruth. And I love that that's the name. Obviously, it's a play on our hate commenter, but also that's what we're about to do. We're about to give you the truth. And so there will be spoilers, right? So you're going to hear it. So let's dive in, baby.
A couple that I kind of expected it, but then the other one I didn't really expect it. But so first off, the casting for this movie, you got Pedro Pascal. You got the other guy who sounds like the exact same name, but it's like flipped. They're like
it's Paul Mascal. It's Paul Mascal. Yeah.
So you got Paul Mascal and Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
which has it's been hurting my brain now for months. Every time I see the trailer of it, I'm like, I can't. It's like I'm dyslexic when I read it. Paul
Mescal, who is, which is really funny because before he even opened his mouth, I was like, this guy's giving me Gerard Butler vibes. And then I go and look at his IMDb, and he's an Irish actor, which I'm pretty sure Butler is either Scottish or Irish. So I just think that's funny. He has a very Gerard Butler-y look to him. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so and then you got Denzel obviously being Denzel, but a different, more, I don't know how to describe it. It was like just a Denzel from a different reality, which I thought he was fucking awesome. Pedro Pascal was awesome too, but the story, I will say and can I say this about the title card? I was hoping they were going to make the I in Gladiator the 2.
You were hoping that?
Yeah, the 2 like Roman numerals.
Okay, I was just going to say, I mean, it's really hard for me to contain my excitement about everything we just saw. But one of the things I was going to say, and this is how in tune we are. Like, even though I'm way more handsome and you're way funnier than me, and we have all these differences, right?
Way better beard.
But when we look at movies, man, we just we see things. I had all sorts of things to say about the title card. I'm going to let you talk about that. But I saw that Gladiator 2 thing happen, and I went, I'm in. They got me. They know what they're doing. There's no way we're going down from here.
Well, it felt very much like early 2000s movie. It brought me back. Like, that's the most fun I've had in the movies, and I can't even tell you how long. Like, I was locked in. Everybody was locked in.
No one was talking in this movie.
A few things on my side. Okay. No, you got a break for you. You should be good for the next 3 years for what you endured during whatever movie that was. But
hell month, as I call it, which was October. This is terrible. Anyway, Go back to what you were saying. So a lot of fun in this movie. 2000s. Keep going.
Yeah, even the opening credits felt very like from my childhood. I love the way they did it too. I thought it was interesting. They're like painting the story from the first movie, like basically recapping the first movie, but in like oil pastel or whatever.
Pedro Pastel.
Love it.
Dad joke number one.
He's on the board, baby. So yeah, so I thought everything. Although I gotta say too, trailers and the ads tonight were egregious. It was pretty egregious. The movie didn't start for 35 minutes.
Well, you got the show,
and I got there. I got there
at 2.
Yeah, I got there at 2.
Yeah.
I got in the theater at 2:10.
Yeah, you didn't sit down until 2:30, and the movie still hadn't started.
No, it was fucking crazy.
Which good for you. You didn't miss anything.
Well, it's funny because they had like, so the trailers finally end, and then they have like their Cinemark ad, and then they have an ad for Swiffer Wet Jets or something, and then
what? I didn't see that.
Whatever it is, and then you think the movie's gonna start, and then it's the 3 main actors from the movie, and they're like, "We just really want to thank you guys for coming in." You're like, "Shut the fuck up and play the movie." I don't need the thank you from the Mezcals and the Pascals and
the Mezcals, the Pascals. So it's funny you bring that up because I was going to make that comment too, which is apparently this is a new thing because we saw The Substance. And in the review I did for The Substance, I was like, I don't know why this looks like a passion project for Demi Moore. Her and the co-actress, Margaret Qualley, I think was her name. They're doing an intro in that movie. Well, apparently they're just doing it. And I don't know if it's an effort to be more relatable to the fans, which, okay, I mean, I get it, but it's 2.5 hours as is. So maybe we can cut that.
Well, also they look like they were at gunpoint.
They always do. Yeah, they look like these are actors, professional actors, and they look like they're giving a speech in English in high school.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, they've also like shot the movie, put in all their time, all that work, and then they're like, "Hey guys, we got one last thing. We got to thank the fans." They're like, "Dude, get us the fuck out. I got a table at Nobu. I don't got time to thank the fans."
Is that a Hollywood reference?
Yeah, it's a nice seafood
restaurant.
Drink. Yeah, it's
where
like Drake. No, Drake goes there. I don't go there.
Drake goes there. Okay.
All the rappers go there. That's the only reason I know.
He's hanging out with the Pascals and the Mascals.
Yeah, dude. Definitely.
Keep going.
So the storyline, I thought at the beginning, I was a little weary, I would say, because, and here, spoilers, here we go. In the first movie, the whole setup and what gets you invested is the betrayal of them, of what's his name? Commodus. I was going to say I want to say Colossus for some reason. Murdering his father and taking the throne away from Gerard Butler. Sorry, Russell Crowe. I always get them confused. Yeah. I always get them confused because Gerard Butler did 300, and I always just want to think that's Russell Crowe. But
no, I get you. I'm with you.
Yeah. So the first one, and then they murder his wife and child, which immediately you're invested because those are crazy high stakes. Your wife and child get burned alive. You lose the throne. You have nowhere to go. Whatever. And they try to kill him on top of all that.
Right. That's so actually first. Yeah.
Yeah. So the stakes were extremely high and you're emotionally invested, and it's so well acted by Russell Crowe too. You just immediately it's a revenge tale, and you're like right. Right. And so this one opens with Paul Mescal's character. I think they called him he's spoiler. He's called Hona, right? Ona. I couldn't really
Haddo. I think
I couldn't make it out.
It's really I couldn't make it out either.
Every time I didn't even realize that was his name until like the 5th time they said it. I could not make out what they were saying. Yeah, I think
that was a little bit of a miss, but not a big deal. But yeah, it was
weird. So he's I think in Africa, right off the coast of the Mediterranean. Yes. I think a place called Nubia. I think it was
Namibia or something like that.
Right. So he's chilling there with his girl, and then they get the signal that they're going to war because Rome is coming across. And they're, coming to conquer them. I think it's like one of the last places, or no, they said like India and China too. They were trying to get to, but
yeah.
So Paul Mescal's he's chilling over here in Nubia. Pedro Pascal is a general, like the highest general in the Roman army, and they're coming to attack basically. And what ends up happening is Paul Mescal's wife, who's also fighting, which is sick. She's like, I'm getting in on the mix. And she was like bodying people left and right. So Pedro Pascal's character, which I think is, I forget, I had it too. It's Aculus or.
Yeah, his name is his general. I think it's Acacius or something like that.
Acacius, that's what it is. Acacius. Yeah. So he's basically like, you got to shoot this broad. She's murdering us. Like she's Kobe Bryant out there, just murdering all of them. So he has basically Paul Mescal's wife. They shoot her, she dies, and that's kind of the stakes for this movie. And that's why I was kind of weird because I was like, it's not as high of stakes. You know what I mean? As
Well,
compared to
it's
the first
yeah,
one.
and the reason, well, I was with you too because first of all, you're copying. You're already not getting creative because it's like we've already done this. So where are we going? But the other reason why the stakes aren't as high, as cool as it was that she was fighting, she's not an innocent person. In the first one, his wife and kid are innocent civilians. So
Right.
you just don't have that same, that. So, but I was with you too. I was like, okay,
But so
and
and yeah, because I looked at Pedro Pascal's character, and I'm going, well, he's just doing his job, though. You know what I mean? It's
right,
not personal. The first one was so
right,
personal.
extremely personal. Yeah,
Yeah, and where in this one, so like off the jump, I was kind of like, oh, where's this gonna go? But it did an amazing job of hiding who you thought the enemy was going to be, and then revealing them, later, and ends up
right.
being Denzel Washington and not Pedro Pascal, which was fucking awesome to me. And
Yes,
that's
yes.
kind of the first twist.
Hmm.
But yeah, I thought once it got to that point, I was like, oh, we're definitely cooking now. We're
Yeah, we're in
definitely,
it.
yeah, yeah. They're cooking up with something, and it opens with an awesome action scene. Everything was almost perfect.
Really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
really good.
um, all the action scenes were awesome, and it just had the right amount of, I think, everything to it. Like the politics of it are sick. The Twink twins, the real villains, the albino brothers were awesome.
The Albino brothers.
They were so hateable. I don't know who's more hateable, Commodus or these two evil twins.
Yeah, they did. Everyone did the act, as you put it. The cast. It's not just that the names are big because they are, but they just. I mean, they crushed it. All of them just. I mean, they're not that you would expect there to be bad acting in a Ridley Scott movie anyway, but these, he just. I think he has a knack for casting. Period. Because the Paul Mescal guy who plays, Lucius, he's or Haddo. I can't even find it. I'm trying to search what actually, and they just keep saying Lucius everything I Google.
Yeah, see, they don't even know.
They don't even know. But I know he's obviously somebody. I've never seen him,
That's my first
and
time seeing
so
him.
yeah, so or even knowing his name. So obviously he's an established actor. We just don't watch what he's been in. But he did a killer job, and I was like, I don't. There was just everyone did such a good job. So yeah, but yeah, I agree that the twist of the politics of it, which is very on point with Roman history. First of all, which these movies, if you're a real film
You're
critic, which
you're
we are
gonna piss
not,
you're gonna piss a lot of
right?
people off right now.
Right. Well, what I'm about to say is I won't because we're not real film critics. I'm not going to get into the historical inaccuracies or this that because
No,
I don't
no,
even know what they are.
no. I just mean a lot. The only critiques I've seen of this movie are that it's not historically accurate. And if that's your critique, you're an idiot. Because who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah, and that's not what we're here to do. So if you want,
Yeah,
again, we love all hate comments, ruthless truth. If you're out there,
yeah.
hit us with the historical, inaccuracies. We love it. That's not what it's for. But there are a lot of loosely related themes that were very true. So politics, huge deal back then. Which I don't know if you know much about history in general, but of the Roman Empire. But I didn't. I don't know how they fell. But I know that they were a massive. I mean, they were unbeatable. They were the LeBron their generation, of that era. Like no one could beat them. Maybe that's not a good analogy. I don't know. Somebody who's never lost. Let's use that.
Well, it's like they got so big it was unmanageable. Like
Uh,
they
well,
conquered
that's
they conquered so much that it just became unmanageable, I think.
well, that's exactly what happened. Because I was like,
And
well,
I don't
how
know
did they
shit.
fall? Well,
Yeah.
how they fell was they just got too big and they got too corrupt, which is exact. And then it's funny that you mentioned the Eastern because they hint at, oh, we still need to take over India and China or whatever Eastern country. It was the Eastern countries that really helped bring them down too, because they had all these trade issues because they couldn't pay. That was the funniest. This is a total sidebar, but real quick, the funniest thing I read on this whole thing was they got so broke, which is cautionary tale for certain countries. that were named nameless, is they ran out of money. And so they started producing coins that were supposed to be pure silver and they were just putting like
Bullshit.
copper and stuff in their coins and sending it to other countries.
Scamming.
Yeah, like legitimately like what bars do, right? They put water in your shots, that kind of thing. So it was pretty crazy. Anyway, but I loved what, yeah, you're right. That spin made the story. But they didn't
Right.
but they kept the integrity of the character enough to where you're still rooting for him, but you're rooting for him in a totally different way than you rooted for Russell Crowe in the first one.
Right. And as the movie progresses and the other things come out, like he ends up you end up finding out he's Lucius, the boy from the first movie. But then they hit you with another one that it's actually Maximus's son. When in the first one, I don't think they ever even alluded to who his dad was.
They hint, but it's very loosely hinted, and the only
There's a scene with Maximus and not Lucille, but I don't know.
Lucilla,
Lucilla,
played by
yes.
Connie Nielsen, who's in this one,
Yeah.
as is Senator Baracus, which is still alive, which is crazy.
I know, that shocked me, dude. That's
Crazy.
Me. But then they killed him,
Yeah.
which is fucked up. But
That's so shady. Yeah.
he made it so far.
So that scene you're talking about, because you and I both just watched Gladiator 1, obviously, to get prepped for this, so it's fresh in your mind. But I told our daughter Jordan, who went with us today, she had never seen the first one. I said, I think they might hint at it in that scene. We'll see. And so I was looking for it, but they really don't. They really don't say anything.
Right. No, there's
but
just
you kind of get the vibe for it, though. It's weird.
I saw a GIF of it today, and it was him and her talking, Lucilla, and they just go, or he goes, she goes, you have a child? He goes, yeah, he's about 8 now, and then, or vice versa. She goes, yeah, I got a child. He's about 8 now, and then and he goes, oh, me too, or whatever. That's kind of, and that's not even I don't know if that proves anything, but they did kind of, just from how they acted towards each other, you were like, oh, there was something there. So it's not a leap to be like, oh, that is his kid. And I just thought that's when you're like, okay, I'm a little bit more invested now too. I thought that was a great twist to throw in there.
I think the reason in the first one you get the vibe is because she was rooting for Russell Crowe so much. Like, she still was clearly like in love with him or attached to him, even after years of them not being together, which she having, a love interest of someone back then. I mean, they're a dime a dozen back then, or sleeping with everybody. So I always felt that Lucius was his son, and that's why she was so attached to him. And that's what I always just thought that, because of the way she was defending him and always standing up for him. It's like, who cares? He's an ex-boyfriend. Who cares? Who gives a shit? So that's why I thought that.
Yeah, I never thought that. I just thought because he lost his son, he took like, a special interest to it or whatever. But no, I thought it adds so much more emotion to it. So I thought that was awesome. And I just like the way, like, the what happens in the games dictates like all the politics in the city. Like, for example, in the first one, when Russell Crowe just keeps winning, and I think it's his second fight where he's got the guy pinned or whatever, and Commodus tells him to kill him, and he doesn't. He doesn't, and Commodus goes home and loses his mind because now the entire crowd is on his side because he showed mercy in that moment. So now he's like lost the crowd like a comedian pretty much, and he just goes home. That scene is so funny because he's just like crying, and he's just like, I just don't get it.
So it's so, this is so funny, man. I love that we're just so on the same page. So like, my dad, I remember when we watched the movie the first time, I was 2000 was when that came out. So that was 24 years ago. So I was whatever I was. What's 41 minus 24? Do that math. Can you do it?
17.
41 minus 24?
17.
So I'm 17 when that movie came out. And I remember my dad laughing, cracking up at Joaquin Phoenix doing that. I just don't know. What do I do? I'm just whining. So 24 years later, I'm watching it with my daughter, Jordan, and she is cracking up at the exact same, full genuine, just cracking up at Joaquin Phoenix, whining like a little turd. But you're right. It was so funny. And I know we're digressing into the first one, but get back to your point about this one, how politics dictate. Like, he can't do what he wants because he has to follow the mob, basically.
Basically, and it's just I like how they just by winning they're just mind fucking them, and like the decisions they make on in the stadium in the arena. It's just the way that the Twink twins acted, the albinos, was it was so fucking funny to watch them lose their mind every time.
So good. So good. By the way, the Twink twins are the emperors in this movie. I don't think we actually
Yeah,
established that.
yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
establish that, and also they didn't explain how they can. I'm like, how did these two idiots?
That was my only complaint. So, first of all, I'm going to say this. This movie, exit vibes are all time high for sure. I'm going to give it 5. This is not a movie critique, it's exit vibes. My expectations for a sequel of this magnitude are pretty much what I think people expect the gladiators in the arena to do, which is lose. The idea that you could come out winning in this sequel is very hard to do. But this movie, I would say for sure, stands on its own. If you even seen the first one, it doesn't matter, which is crazy because it's centered around the boy from the first one. But you wouldn't really need it. You wouldn't really need to, because I thought about it multiple times. Like, if I hadn't seen it, could I follow it? I'm like, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, and that's kind of, it could be a negative thing too, because they kind of explain it in child terms at some point at certain points, and you're just like, yeah, no, I got it. Like they kind of but it is positive in what you're saying because you could just watch it.
Which is
So
why
they
I
kind of
think it's
spell it
that
out for you. Yeah.
right. Then I think that's why it is the way it is, because I think you and I as watchers, as people have seen the first ones, we would just go, well, if we made it for us, but these production companies, they got to make it for the old generation and the new, because they're trying to maximize the return, right?
Yeah,
So
it's been 25 years, so
exactly,
it's
yeah,
been a long time.
long time. So, but anyway, so the casting is critical to this, but one of the things that to get to the only really negative things is what you're talking about a little bit. Two things. One is there's some backstory stuff that was very rushed or barely touched on, or just didn't make sense for you and I. So two examples. There's really only two. In the first one, at the end, Russell Crowe basically liberates the Senate. That's the whole point. So the Emperor's dead, Commodus is dead, everything's fine. Lucius is supposed to be safe, and somehow none of that happens in this one.
Yeah.
And they did such a crazy thing where like he was in danger the moment they left the arena, which is makes
Like,
no sense.
they put
right?
They put the kid in the cab and said, "Get out of here."
And so there's no tie into it doesn't make sense. But if you haven't seen the first one, it's not going to matter. You just go, oh, that's they dethrone the emperor, so it makes sense. If you haven't seen the first one,
Right,
you go, okay,
right.
that tracks. So that's a thing they had to do, which I didn't love, but they had to do it. They didn't have to, they chose to. The other one is what you're talking about, is the emperors. The story, it's the thinnest backstory of the whole thing. It's like they were milked by a wolf, and somehow that got them to become emperors. There's no clarity on that at all. It's really weird. Yeah.
No, but if I'm putting my Hollywood hat on here, I see a spinoff in the future, an origin story. I got to see how these twins were raised. I got to see the origin story of the Twink twins.
Jesus.
It'll be on HBO, the albinos.
The albinos. Yeah,
but I think that was obviously just like obviously the folklore or whatever, surrounding them. But yeah, and also they could have in the title cards, because they did kind of a breakdown of what was happening right there. They could have explained what happened to the Senate from the first movie and why it didn't work out. They could have easily right there said it.
Yeah.
And they chose not to do it, and which became confusing too. But you just go, all right, whatever.
Yeah. It's not. And
it's politics, baby. It's Washington, D.C.
And this is the decisions they have to make that you and I don't have to make. And so, because, and I hear that all the time, right? Oh, they should have done this or that. I'm like, hey, the movie's already 2.5 hours. I mean, how long you want it to be, right? Because I would say this, while those things would have been good to have, I don't know that I would have sacrificed other things in the movie for it. I didn't feel like there was any wasted scenes in this movie. Like that shouldn't have been there or didn't need to be there. I felt like the pace was good. Everything was flowing. Yep. So
yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, all the battles were awesome. The sharks were, I mean, talk about, when I saw the trailer, I think it's awesome. And I think there is some historical precedent that there were some fake naval battle. The Colosseum is so impressive. If these things actually even close
incredible
were even close to real at all, if any, like, and I believe a lot of it is, but the fact that you're like they're recreating naval battles and filling it up with what I mean, it's fucking incredible. It's insane to think about.
Well, and I know for sure.
But the sharks are crazy. Where's the shark?
Okay, here's the funniest part about the sharks was not just that there were sharks, that somehow they transported, which I
great whites. Great whites.
But what
could have been a tiger. Okay. Could have been a tiger. Could have been a tiger.
You took the words out of my mouth. When I saw that they appeared to be great whites, I went, all right. What are we doing here?
Dude, because all you do, you know what you do? You go piranha.
That's what I was going to say, but piranhas are indigenous to
right
the Amazon. There. No, they're
who gives a fuck? Dude, I'll believe piranha. I'll believe piranha over great white shark any fucking day of the week.
Or just or maybe something what they could have done, and we are nitpicking on this because there's nothing really. But
it's pretty crazy.
Say it's pretty crazy, but what they could have done to take a creative liberty but not make it so ridiculous like that is the same thing they did with the monkeys. There's a scene with the monkeys earlier in the movie where those monkeys don't look real at all, but you believe it. You're like, all right, yeah, like crazy, exotic, almost human-like monkeys. They're like baboons or something.
But I think it's a howler. But monkeys are transportable in their region. You can't transport. You're not.
We're gonna have to look this up. Someone out in the Ruthless Truth, go look this up for us and let us know.
No,
but yeah, the shark seeds, crazy.
No,
that was crazy.
Yeah, it was an awesome fucking scene. But yeah, that made me laugh. That made me laugh pretty hard.
But yeah, the Colosseum and is really impressive. And what I was going to say is you get away with it because that is the truth about the Romans, and which is why they probably went bankrupt and corrupt, because they did everything. I mean, and they did this. So I think they did this well. Again, people with the real critics and historical critics are going to eat this alive, but they did things like at a early party they were in the movie that Denzel shows up, and they have a head of a rhino just cut off, and it's on the table. And it's like they just cut the head off just for that one party.
And then there were people with small dinner plates shaving off the horn onto the dinner plate like it was cocaine or something. It was crazy. I was like, what is that? Did you see
that again? Say that again.
There was people shaving. There was the scene, the first scene with the head, and then there's another scene where there's two guests of the party. They're shaving the horn of the rhino, and they're catching the dust. And I'm like, what is that?
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
dust.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is that some Roman rhino horn ecstasy?
That's crazy. I didn't even notice that. So, but they did things like that, like big scale things, which is what the Romans did. Everything was big scale. According to AI, yes, naval battles were held in the Colosseum, and there was two.
That's fucking insane, dude.
Nuts.
That's fucking insane. And I just love the aesthetic of Rome. Let me say this, and no offense to Rome right now, but Rome might be the only city that was better then than it is now.
Oh, sure.
It looks awesome. I would go, if I could pick a couple time periods, I'd go back to one, the 70s. Two, I'd go back to fucking Rome in the height of it looks like fun. That's all I can say. It looks like Ibiza. It looks like a good time.
No, they're legitimately, I mean, this isn't my bag, but if you wanted all-you-can-eat buffets, including orgies.
Dude, they're gambling.
They're betting on sport. They're watching people get their head cut. It's Vegas with death.
Yeah. And the UFC is right there.
It's Thunderdome.
Yeah.
It's crazy. A couple more things on this movie that I wanted to give them praise on, because it's very hard to do, and they did a killer job, which, it's Ridley Scott. He's directed it and produced it again, so I'm sure it was his
86.
That's how you do it. That guy's he's in the chair. That guy's in the chair. What they did really, really well is multiple times throughout the movie, they balanced the callbacks to the original one very, very well. Not too much, just enough. Couple of scenes with Russell Crowe, not too much. A couple of quotes, not too much. And it was just like, for the people who have seen it, you're eating it up. If or the people who just watched it, because I'm sure there are people, people, not just you and I, who haven't seen the first one, like Jordan, my daughter, who was like, oh, okay. So she's going to pick up on those things. And they did that really, really well, which could have been a disaster, or they couldn't have avoided it altogether, but they chose not to. So
Yeah, and that's
loved it.
yeah, I loved how it was very much a continuation of the first story, and because I thought they might just kind of go away from it and do something completely different, but in this they really concluded, because the first one, the ending's dope. He gets his revenge, but you still kind of feel empty. You're like, you kind of still feel like, well, nothing really great happened. It's sad. The ending's it's not a happy ending. And this one really, it just concludes everything, I thought, in such a great way. We talk about landing the plane, really landed the plane. It was, and especially when you find out that he's the son of Maximus or whatever. It's just such a good completion of that story, where I thought in the first one, yeah, the ending's dope. Commodus gets fucked, but you're still just kind of like, you know.
Well, because that was the conclusion for that story, was he just
Right.
needed to avenge, to your point, the personal part. And you are unfulfilled, but that was 24 years ago, where everyone was doing happy endings. So that was one that sounds terrible, but you get my point.
They were.
That's one of the reasons why that movie stood out, because the protagonist, the main character, dying wasn't done a ton back then. So that was unique. So I'm glad in this one that it was a little bit different. And there's other spoilers we don't need to give, but it's not a completely happy ending. There are other things that happen. But the way they landed the plane, you talk about landing the plane. I'm bittersweet on this. I thought that they could have ended the movie and closed out at the moment where he is standing between both Roman armies and he's rallying them, and he's basically uniting the country in that moment. And I thought they could have just landed it there and been done. And I would have been happy with that. I would have been fine with that. It would have been unique and it's on its own, and it was awesome. They chose not to do that. They chose to replicate the first ending, where he goes back into the Coliseum at night, picks up the dirt, and then of course they do what they had to do and needed to do to really land the plane, which is get that Lisa Gerrard song to close out the movie. That's the whole movie. Honestly, it's been on my soundtrack for that Now We Are Free theme song. I played it at my dad's funeral. That's how much I liked it. Yep. Well,
I love it.
Again, your impersonations are just awful. But yeah, but
they used to be better.
You're devolving.
Yeah, they used to be
no,
better.
That they had to do that, because it's one of those things where, like, you can't be better than that, so there's no point in trying. So they didn't, which I appreciated. Again, just let it, tie it in, let it fade out. Oh, so good. So love it. Anyway, go see it, guys. Really good.
Is it the best sequel of all time? Are we going there?
We got to do a segment on that. Let's do a whole show on that.
Are we going there? It could be.
It's up there. It's up there, but that's going to be that would be a short list, because a lot of times people do sequels 5 years, 3 years after the first one.
Yeah, immediate. Dude,
you know what I mean?
You see what's happening with Moana? That's just such a funny. Such a funny sentence.
Are we hold on? Are we transitioning away from Gladiator? Let's transition.
Well, we're gonna get back to the best sequel. I'm looking up a list of sequels right now, so we can just kind of think about it. But no, but when we're
Moana
talking about
2.
Yes, Moana 2. But they're making a live action Moana right now. They're filming it of the first one.
About that while they're releasing Moana 2.
Yeah,
in theaters.
Why are you doing that? Why do you need I don't understand. They got The Rock out to do this picture. There's a picture of The Rock and this is what's funny. It looks like he's in a bodysuit. He's not even
instead of just letting him be him.
Yeah, because like they're trying to make him look like what's his character?
Cartoon.
Yeah, Maui.
Maui.
And so they even had to put him in a box. It looks fucking ridiculous. But my point is, the sequel's not even out. Like, who needs this? And
Don't know.
yeah, I don't get it. Just to your point of them churning out sequels, I think everyone should wait 25 years now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just
It's
do it
it's
right
one of
if
one.
you're gonna
It's
do
one
it.
for one. The stats
Yeah,
are 1 for 1.
it's
25
yeah,
years, great sequel.
yeah. 1,000 per. Yeah, you win.
Yeah,
It's a winning percentage.
you're batting
Perfect
1,000.
right now.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, now that I think about it, Ridley Scott has done other things where he's waited a while. Like, I don't know what the year gaps are between the aliens, but I know they're not like 1 year apart. Like
Dude,
the first one was like from the 70s, right?
79.
Yeah.
And I think Aliens was 84, but yeah, great. Dude, he might have the 2 best sequels of all time. Aliens and
right.
Gladiator.
So
Well,
actually, I have the timeline here. He did Alien in 1979. The next soonest was 1986. So he waited 7 years before he did that. Then he waited this. Then he did. He only did a 6-year gap for Alien 3. So he kind of went off the rails there.
Which
but
we don't
actually, now that I'm
no one
looking,
acknowledges that.
also, by the way, oh, you know what though? We got to take this back. He did the 1979 version. James Cameron directed the 1986. 92
That's right.
was somebody named David Fincher. 1997 was John Pierre whatever.
I forgot it was James Cameron. Damn, he put out a banger.
As far as directing it. So I don't know. Anyway, point is, you're right. Like the list is, we should do a whole thing on what are the best sequels, but it's going to be a short list of actual good ones.
Yeah, I mean,
especially when you get into comedies. God, there's some real stinkers.
Yeah,
comedy sequels.
Jesus. That's almost comedies are dead too.
Yeah, I mean, over 6, anyone?
You got you got Todd Phillips now directing Joker 2, the worst movie of all time. So yeah, comedy's fucking dead. Yeah, you got The Dark Knight.
So disappointing for Todd Phillips because he killed it in that first one.
I know.
Now, to be fair, we didn't see it, so that's a complete box office reference, not my own experience with it.
I think we should watch it in pod while we watch it. I think that'd be fun.
I mean, the whole thing with it is basically just that they turned it into a musical, right? That was the basic problem with it.
That was the fundamental problem, but the story issue at the end, it was even worse than the singing, if you can imagine that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking at
But again, take a look at how long they did. They money grabbed it because it was only a 4-year, not even 4 years, 3 years from Joker 1.
Yeah.
So
I think that was 2020.
You got to wait. You got to wait 24 years.
Yeah, you should. It's 1 for 1. You're batting 1,000 if you do that. Yeah, I'm looking at this list right here. It's not even close, dude. And Bad Boys 2 isn't even on here, and that, to me, is...
That was a good one. Bad Boys 2 was good. And they waited about 10 or 12 years for that one. So
yeah, it doesn't really... I don't think it really holds up, but... Maybe, but... in any route. Yeah, it was a great fucking movie, dude. Everything I wanted.
Yep.
Everything
was from start to finish, like you said, from the title card to the end. It was just really well done. And like I said, it stands on its own. I will gladly have both of those. I'm going to date myself here, but I would gladly have both of those DVDs in my collection. Just 1 and 2. So
what do you think about a third?
No. Nope.
Nothing? Nope. Not at all?
Nope.
They could do something cool.
I mean, well, okay, I will say this, and I think Ridley Scott actually said this, but I might be making up this quote, so don't hold me to it. It all comes down to the story. You have to have it has to be a great story. If they can come up with a great story, okay, I'm in. But if you come up with crap 4 years later, yeah, don't do it.
Nah, I think they would have had to keep this one open-ended, and they didn't.
He's uniting the entire Roman Empire, so I don't know how you...
Because if now at this point, if you make another one, you'd have to make another one.
Just keep making them forever.
You can't just make, if they left it a little bit open-ended, on some sort of cliffhanger or something, then you'd have a way to finish it in a third act. But now the story's already done. So if you do one more, you're just starting a new story. So you'd have to do now you're in another trilogy. Now you got a trilogy on your hands. And old Ridley Scott, he's not going to make it through the trill.
I don't think he's got another 24 years in him. That's for sure.
Good point. Well, and I guess if they're bad, you could just be like, well, they didn't wait 24 years. That's why it's bad.
Yep.
It's not Ridley Scott.
All right. Well, let's transition into the segment of the week. We have a great segment for you today. I came prepared.
We'll see.
I don't know if Christian came prepared.
I got some good ones.
We were supposed to come up with our favorite movie lines, or what I would say our most memorable movie lines, and I wanted to have a little fun with this. So rather than tell me who the actor is or what the movie is, you read the line and I will try to guess what it's from.
Okay, I like this.
Yeah. Now, I may not guess a lot of Christian's because Christian watches, we have different movie histories, like filmographies. So he, as you guys may have heard in a previous podcast, he only watches murder and death. He doesn't do anything with feel-good movies. So, but what I really loved about this exercise, I don't know about you, brother, was like, I didn't try to go, what are the best movie lines? That's not what I did. I said, what ones come to me? What are the ones that I use all the time, or that I'm quoting all the time, or I'm saying that I'm like, oh yeah, or that when I just sat down to go, what lines am I recalling, even if I don't quote them all the time? And I got some really interesting ones that, and I'm all over the map with these too.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say that, because I tried that approach and it was like I was meditating. It was just a dark room.
Did you light a candle?
I got the incense going. I had everything, trying to get anything to come to me, and I was like, nope. So I pop up in the old MacBook and I go, best movie quotes of all time.
That's what you did? My God.
I did for a second, but then I was like, I'll just like you said, I was like, I'll just work and I'll just try and let some of these come to me. But I got a lot from Gladiator.
All right, well, let's get into it. I will ping pong. So I will do a first one, and you see if you can guess who the actor is or character in the movie. All right. Okay. I will try to say it. These are from the ones I remember, so I will try to say it in the way that the character says it, just so that it kind of helps you a little bit. All right. So here's the first one.
Do you think I'll need it? All right.
Yeah. So some of these you will, and even then you may not get some of these.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. First one. I wish you had more time.
Softball. That's Denzel Washington, Man of Fire, Detective Creasy.
Wow, dude. Hold on. I got it. Hold on.
It's really
wow.
Nice. Yeah.
That was incredible. I can't believe you did that. Oh, sorry.
I'll take another one. It's like that clip of. Do you see that clip of Ellen where she made that joke and just received a standing ovation for 5 minutes in that stand up?
No, I didn't see that.
Dude, she made some joke about how proud she is to be a woman or whatever she's saying these days, and the crowd just applauded her for 5 minutes, and she just stood
with
around,
tears and stuff too.
It was so great. I'm like, dude. Any amount of applause over 30 seconds, I don't know if I've said this before, I probably have, is just cringe as fuck.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, your turn.
Sorry. Hasta la vista, baby.
Wow. Okay. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if it's actually from Terminator 2 Judgment Day, because I have never seen Terminator 1. Never saw that. Only Terminator 2. So I want to say it is from Terminator 2. Am I correct? Or is it from T1?
Googling right now.
You don't even know?
No, I didn't. Well, I didn't know we were going to be naming what exact movie it's. Well, because I don't. It's Terminator 2.
Nailed it.
But the reason I wrote that one down was because. Calm down, Ellen. The reason I put it on there was because he also has the quote, "I'll be back." And I was like, he had two of the most iconic ones.
Yes, he did.
And they might. I think I'll Be Back is in the first one though. So he followed that up with.
Probably.
He was filming the second one, and he was like, "How do I one up I'll Be Back?" And he goes, "Hasta."
There's an interview. There's an interview he did on some show recently. I don't know. It might have been the British guy Graham Norton or something. But he was talking about that line, and I think it's James Cameron did that, right? James Cameron did those movies. And he said to Arnold, like, I want you to say this. And Arnold was like, I'll be stupid. And so he was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And they were just like, and James Cameron gave him the old Jon Favreau from The Breakup. Just do it. Just go ahead. Nah, you got it. Go ahead.
He goes, you know? Yeah, it sounds really stupid until you say it, but with your accent, it somehow sounds cool.
Right. And so obviously obviously 15 years later, it's one of the most quoted lines ever. So of course, you know, Arnold had to be like, yeah, you were right. But he was like, this is a dumb line. You want me to say what? I'll be back? Or it's so stupid. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Go ahead.
No. Fire away.
Okay.
I'm adding quotes right now.
All right. Here we go. You know what FINE stands for? Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Dude, I know this. Ocean's 11. That's not Ocean's 11?
It is not.
Ocean. Wait, is that the first one? Ocean's 11, right? Isn't that what they say to Matt Damon?
Nope. But I could see why you would think that. You're confusing Matt Damon with a different actor.
Brad Pitt.
Totally different movie. No.
It's got to be Brad Pitt.
No. Would you like a hint?
Yeah, I'll take a hint.
The quote is said by Donald Sutherland.
The Italian Job.
Yes.
The Italian Job. Good one.
Well, you're not getting any cheers for that one. Sorry, no claps. All right, my turn.
All right.
The ones you're writing down as we speak.
No. This is something I'm just finishing it from last night because I didn't finish it. All right. Do you like the idea of the president, or are you okay with thugs running the country? Yeah, some years we are.
I have no idea. I probably have never seen. Do you know if I've seen this movie?
Oh, you've seen it and you love it. But
okay, well let me give it a second then.
It's kind
I've seen it and I love it.
It's kind of an obscure quote, but I thought it was awesome. I'll give you the actor because I don't think that's going to give it away. Danny Glover.
And I love it, and Dead I love Radio. The movie.
I just watched it last night. It popped on my TV. Mm-hmm. Conspiracy. Got a huge. The lead actor's huge, superstar.
Is Danny Glover the one who says that quote?
It's Danny Glover and this other actor. The first part where he goes, "Do you like the idea of the president, or are we okay with thugs running the country?" That's his quote. The other actor says, "Well, yeah, some years we are."
Dude, I'm drawing a blank, especially because you're saying I love the movie. So, all right, hit me with it.
Shooter, Mark Wahlberg.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a great one. That's a really good one. Underrated film. No one really talks about that movie. They did make a TV series out of it, so it got some more attention. But
yeah,
that's a really good movie.
Yeah, that popped on TV last night. I was like, yeah, I'm checking this out. Dude, you know what I hate about that? Donald Glover has this crazy lisp.
Danny.
Yeah, shit. Holy hell.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably Donald. It probably is Donald. He has this crazy lisp, like he's wearing it. I think he's wearing Invisalign or something, and it bugs the shit out of me. And then he also wears his sunglasses. You ever know when actors wear the sunglasses and they're like up here and they're not around their ears?
Right.
It's maddening. It's fucking maddening.
Yeah, and he's just in that movie. Are you talking about?
Yeah.
In Shooter? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah.
All right. That's a good one. I forgot that Danny Glover was in that movie. So yeah, but now that you're saying, I'm like, oh yeah, because Warren Beatty is also in that movie. He's like the bad guy. Wait, not Warren Beatty. Is it Ned Beatty? Whoever was in Deliverance.
Ooh, I don't know.
The fat politician that he was working with. He was the
senator, the white guy. Yeah.
Yeah, senator. Yeah, I think it's Ned. Maybe.
He looks like a Ned.
So,
he's definitely a Ned.
All right, so I'm not going to say this one. I'll say that for the end because I'm highly confident you haven't seen this other movie. This one here, though, I got two from the same movie. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna save the comedies till the end because you're gonna get all of those. All right, this one you should get. You should get with basically no help. I get my face right for this one. All right.
Yeah, I hit you with a curveball. You gotta level up, dude.
Got to get you back. All right, I got one similar. I got something similar. All right, so I'm gonna look into the camera and do this one because it reminds me. Okay, you're either incredibly smart or incredibly stupid.
Hey, that's generic as hell.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
You don't know if I've seen this?
I know you've seen it.
Oh,
this is very similar to what you just did to me. You've seen it and you love it.
Either incredibly smart or incredibly stupid. This could be my parents.
I'll give you the rebuttal because it's a very quick rebuttal and maybe it helps you. So the quote is, "You're either incredibly smart or incredibly stupid," and the retort from the person he's talking to is, "We'll find out in a minute."
Okay, can I get a year?
You can. I think it's 1997, but let me look. 1998.
Oh, this is gonna
got you back.
Yeah,
got you back.
Is
it ringing any bells to you?
Definitely.
Are you feeling anything? Okay.
Definitely.
It's the way he looks at him. Watch me. He leans in. Rather incredibly smart or incredibly stupid.
So older guy.
He's an older guy.
All right.
Yep.
I got nothing.
I don't know what about my camera angle made that seem like an older guy.
But all right. It was more of the furrowing of the brow. And...
Yeah.
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 All right, hit me.
I will give you a hint. It is Gene Hackman.
Okay, Independence Day.
No, he's not in Independence Day.
No. Enemy of the State. Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State. Yeah. Because you thought Will Smith.
Yeah. Enemy of the State. Oh, that's a good one.
Such a good one because he uses it twice. That's why that line, he uses it early in the movie and then he uses it again. And that's when Will Smith's like, "We'll find out in a minute."
The thing I love about that movie, I think I talked about it when like they go overboard on like in old movies, like how the technology would be and how advanced they are. Right. That movie's a perfect example. Not that it's like not accurate, but just like the beginning, like how they try to show how technologically advanced like their team was. It's like we got
especially
satellites.
when they're using the sounds. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Like we're so technologically advanced.
That cast was crazy when you go back and watch Enemy of the State.
Nuts.
You realize Jack Black is in there just randomly.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I think was it Seth Green or someone might have been Seth Green in there too. But it was and then what's his name?
You got the guy with the big hair.
Yeah, that's from Hawaii Five-0. I forget his name now.
Hair was so big too.
Scott Conn.
Scott Conn. Love Scott Conn.
Bro, totally can't believe it took me so long to realize this, but I think he's the son of James Conn, late great James Conn. And of course, when you look at his face, you're like, "Oh yeah, it looks just like him."
Yeah, 100%.
I never connected those dots.
I've had to have before, but
because James Conn is not he's already older and stuff, so you don't really see him a lot. He was an Elf, and then he was in the Las Vegas show. But anyway, all right,
yeah,
all right, go ahead.
All right, this one's short and sweet. I'm not sure if you've seen this movie, but. All right. Now yous can't leave. Locke's door. I'll say that. I'll say
Locke's
that.
door.
I'll even give you the blocking of the scene.
Now's you can't leave.
Now yous can't leave. Like YOU. Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm gonna need help on this for sure. I don't know. This is not enough to go on.
Robert De Niro's in it. Chaz Parliamentary or whatever his name is. He's awesome. He's in it. Older movie.
Is it Heat?
No.
Oh, one of the Godfathers?
No, but you're getting there.
Getting there. All right. Scarface?
No.
All right, just go with it. I'm out. 3 strikes and you're out.
A Bronx Tale. Have you ever seen this film?
Never seen that. No.
Good one. But the scene is like the mob boss, he obviously owns a bar, and like some other gangsters from outside of town try to come in and like fuck the bar up or hold them up, I think. And the mob boss goes and locks the door, and then that's the line. He goes, "Well, now you guys can't leave. You're stuck." Basically, like now you're stuck in here with us. And then they just beat the shit out of
you can't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of was like when
quote.
You said now you can't leave. I was starting to go, okay, that sounds a little Jersey-ish,
yeah.
Or something like that. But
yeah, pretty sick scene. Pretty dope scene.
Yeah, I guess I need to watch that one. I guess.
Yeah, good movie. One gangster movie, Robert De Niro plays a guy on the straight and narrow.
All right. I am going to give you something that's equally as hard as what you just gave me because it's very short. And it is one of those, like, I would have to give you amazing respect if you pick this up. But once I say it, you might remember it. But and I know you've seen the movie, but it's not one that you've watched it multiple times. So, all right. So the quote is, "I get lucky a lot."
That sounds like Dane Cook, Ryan Reynolds, who are the same person, I'm sure. Get lucky a
I wouldn't say you're on the right track, but I could see where you're getting there because it is a comedic line, but it is not a comedic movie. But there is comedy in the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a snarky line a white guy would say in an action movie, in an action comedy movie where like he's like some nerd and like the guy's trying to save him or whatever, or he's like some stuck up dude. Where
you're kind of on the right path. Yeah,
I got to be in the ballpark. I get lucky a lot. That sounds so distinctive. All right, give me the year.
Actually, it's such a it's just a throwaway line, but it's not because it's so funny. It's 2007. I'll give you a hint that's not really
got to be
away anything.
All right,
but it is. There's 2 movies in this franchise, and this is the second one.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. It is Nicolas Cage in National Treasure 2. His wife or his girlfriend and him, they're estranged, and they're like, separated, and she's coming by to pick up some stuff or whatever. And she's like, "You don't have to be so arrogant. I don't know everything. Sometimes you just get lucky." And he looks at me and goes, "Yeah. I get lucky a lot." It's so funny.
I remember that scene. Right. I almost threw that movie on last night too.
I love National Treasures.
But then Shooter came on. And I said, no.
Oh no.
I gotta check out Shooter.
All right, go ahead.
All right, couple honorable mentions here, just because we gotta wrap it up a little bit soon. But one I want to say from the first Gladiator, which was tight. The beating heart of Rome isn't the marble of the Senate; it's in the sands of the Colosseum. Thought that was pretty dope.
That's very poetic.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty dope. Obviously, the "What we do in life echoes in eternity," which became like a big quote today. Yeah. And then we got "Game Over, Man" from the great Bill Paxton in Alien 2, Aliens. And then my last one I got 2 jobs here in Bed Bath & Beyond.
Love it. Michael Keaton, the other guys, great movie.
Yeah.
Okay, those are good. All right, I'll rush through some of mine too. There's one more I want to see if you can get, but I'll rush through some of the funny ones. All right, so some of the ones that just came to my mind were that I always laugh at because it's just too good. It's like, wow, I thought the Rockies would be rockier than this. That John Denver's full of shit.
Damn, that's probably the best one.
That's a great one. But also,
I could have just looked up Dumb and Dumber quotes. There's
so I got. Well, here's another one that it's not one that's quoted a lot, but it's hilarious. She gave me a bunch of crap about me not listening to her or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Jeff Daniels.
Dude, I got a good one.
Okay.
Ventura, when he goes, "Yeah, well, you're ugly."
It's on here. You can't see it. That was literally next. I was about to read it, dude. "Yeah, well, you're ugly." That's a great one. And of course, you got some really several Jim Carrey ones. You also have a couple of classics from
Liar, Liar.
Parents. I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Yeah, that's a great one.
Dude, that took the world by storm. By the way,
because that's how good it was. Yeah,
everybody knew ridiculous. That quote. Old people, young, everybody knew that quote.
That movie was ahead of its time. Actually, when it came out, it was really good. Then you got some Happy Gilmore. You suck, jackass. That's a great one. And then the one, that's so funny that you had that one in the holster too. All right, the one I wanted to see if you could get is, "It doesn't matter what I believe, It only matters what I can prove.
That is law-abiding citizen. Jamie Foxx.
No, but you're on the right.
He says that in that movie, though.
He's probably pulling it from this original movie, though, that you and I both love.
Damn, I thought I had that.
I wanted to give you the cheers, but can't do it.
Shit, what? No, I don't know then. That's what I know it from.
It's Tom Cruise in A Few Good Men.
Of course.
He's screaming at Demi Moore. It's classic Tom Cruise where it's where you really realize, okay, he's more than an action star, because he was totally that movie he was fantastic in. He was so good.
Damn it.
All right.
Well, Jamie Foxx says it too.
That's great. Okay. Oh, and then last thing that everyone should know, and leave if in the comments. I'm not even going to say who it is. I'm just going to say it, and you guys in the comments can put if you know what it is. It is, you best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Swan, because you're in one.
Fucking
Classic.
awesome. Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean, obviously. But the other thing, the music I noticed in Gladiator 1 sounded exactly like Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's the same score, Jordan. That one score, Jordan,
Yeah.
but before Pirates, obviously, way before.
Yeah,
and so it's obviously the same guy. I'm pretty sure. Is it Hans who does it?
Is that Hans Zimmer?
Find out.
I don't think that's. I don't think
no,
that's Hans. That doesn't sound like Hans.
Gavin Greenway and the Lyndhurst Orchestra. Yeah, Jordan. She was like, "Why is that the Pirates of the Caribbean?"
Yeah, literally.
Hold on. No, it says right here. The soundtrack was composed by Hans Zimmer and Lisa Gerrard. It was conducted by Gavin Greenway. Yeah, so the conductor was Gavin Greenway and the Lyndhurst Orchestra, but it was absolutely Hans Zimmer. So I'm sure that's what that is.
Dude.
So
Hans Zimmer's a fucking animal.
He's an absolute animal.
And the guy who did the Jurassic Park theme, I can't think of his name right now. John Williams or something like that.
I don't know, but that's funny that you caught that too. And yes, it is Hans Zimmer on that as well. So,
dude, he recycled it. That's crazy.
He did. He totally did.
He just beefed it. He made it better for Pirates, but it's the same.
And it was only 3 years later.
Yeah,
that's it. It was only 3 years. And you know why?
Wow.
Because he probably did it because he was like, these are two totally different genres. Like, this is a Disney family movie. This is not going to attract the Gladiator. Yeah,
that's fucking crazy, dude. Damn, he phoned it in.
He's like, why would I do it twice?
He's like, it's so good. He's like, I'll just use it. But it's even better in Pirates of the Caribbean. He obviously added some things to it, but
he extended it and he changed it. It was like a baseline. You know, they all have their baselines, that they get to. But yeah, that's a big catch by you.
Good luck finding that on any other podcasts, you fucking losers.
Yeah, that's the kind of content we want to bring you. Stuff like that.
Come on, dude. Where are you going to get another fun fact like that?
You're not going to get it. You can only get it here on Mostly Movie Podcast with Christian and Nick, which, by the way, I've been too involved in our conversation today. I haven't put up any of our graphics today. Here's a link right there. Go to our description of our podcast. You'll get a link to our website. But it's www.thescreengods.com. Go to the YouTube channel, Screen Gods. We're on TikTok. I don't know if Christian's doing
always forget TikTok.
Twitter. I haven't seen any posts, but I also don't follow it.
It's a work in progress.
So that's where you should go for all of our controversial takes that Christian will do. I don't know what he's saying over there, and I don't want to know, but you guys can follow that whenever he remembers to post. But yeah, so appreciate you guys being with us. This was a really special day for me. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. So we'll have another segment. We'll bring you more content next week. And I'll do a full review on this one, obviously, as well, which you'll see at thescreengods.com.
Yeah, beautiful. Anything else?
No, I think we landed the plane, as you say.
I don't know. Next week we got to chat. Yeah, we got to chat. So we'll see. It might be a Thanksgiving week off, but right. I got some other ideas too. So
okay, all right, everybody.
Thank you so much. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Peace.